Hello, my lovely audience. Oh shit. Uh, yeah, I already did my intro. So, yeah, in case you're wondering, yesterday I felt sick, which is why I didn't really post anything. Also, I usually do like 3 days apart with my what ifs, so yeah. Anyway, so let's just get on with the what if. Now, in this what if, Zeus will do what Zeus does best: sleeping around. More specifically, with his mother Gaia. How he managed it, I personally do not know. Either. I'm just confused as all of you on that. I have no idea how he managed to, sleep with his mother, but he managed it. Uh, anyway, so, yeah. Give me a moment. That is how Izuku was born. Now then, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's how Izuku was born. Anyway, so Gaia would just kind of drop him off in the middle of the ocean, considering he's currently one of the strongest beings to ever exist, just way too tiny to do anything, so he's just in a basket in the ocean. Now, I am just gonna say this. Y'all know Hercules? Yeah, he's technically the son of Zeus, and yeah, Hercules was the result of Zeus busy doing it with a human. So, yeah, Izuku's technically a half Titan and a half god. So, yeah, is he going to be extremely overpowered in this what if? Possibly, just require some setup for it, because I'm just adding in an extra rule in this what if, because I just like it. Whenever we, like, add gods into the melting pot that is my channel, or a what if video I make, a deity's strength, or god, is determined by how many followers they have. So, yeah. In case you're curious, Rome never fell in this what if. So, Greek gods still around. So, yeah. The Roman Empire never fell. So, yeah. Nor the Greek Empire, so, yeah, there's still a lot of people worshipping Zeus and, the others. Anyway, so, Izuku would eventually end up on a beach. Yeah. Where an infertile woman by the name of Inko, yes, Inko Midoriya, would find him and just fucking adopt him. Yep. Her, and, Hisashi would, of course, look for the child's parents, but, since Izuku really doesn't have any records about him anywhere, they'll just end up eventually adopting him. So, yeah. That's how Izuku comes into the possession of Inko and Hisashi. Now, Izuku growing up would be a quote-unquote interesting child. Well, first of all, Izuku's first night with his new parents, he, in quotation marks, he would be attacked by a set of snakes. Well, attacked is a strong word, more so cuddle with a set of snakes as he sleeps. Now, why these snakes came for him was simple. Hera. Hera. Sorry, my mouth is very dry right now, so I can't really speak properly. But Zeus's wife, Hera. As we all know, she is a jealous fuck, and has the habit of fucking over the children of Zeus's children that aren't inherently hers. So, her not really thinking about who the affair partner could possibly be, she just assumed that it was Inko, which is kind of sent a bunch of snakes to kill him. Now, the snakes would arrive, look at him, and instantly become more afraid of him than Hera. Simply put it, they'd rather die by her hands instead of his. Yeah, they don't know why themselves. They are just terrified of this small baby in his crib. So instead of killing him, they would just kind of cuddle with him, try and get in good graces. Now, of course, this with Izuku's hair, which has branches and flowers in it, just all mixed in to his bright green hair in this what if, Inko would just kind of assume that he has some kind of animal's quirk. She would be proven wrong when Izuku's won and like crawling around. He would be hit by a fucking truck. Just run over. He would like be run over by a fucking truck. And you wanna know what happens after? Like Inko sees him getting run over by a truck. And what happens next? He crawls it off. He just like got a sprained wrist from that and a few like minor fractures. He fully recovered within an hour. But yeah. Once again, Izuku growing up would be very unique. Along with all of the strangeness that involves him, before you ask, yes, he walks around with the snakes around his neck like Obanai from Demon Slayer. Imagine that, but with multiple snakes. Most of them being highly venomous killing machines. Some aren't even in, like, biology books. But, yeah. He just walks around with them around his neck. Anyway, yeah. Along with all the weird bullshit, Izuku's blood is gold. It's a type of gold coloration. Shares the same, yeah. His blood is gold. They just assume it's from his quirk, but no one can really figure out what his quirk is. Give me a moment. No one can figure out his quirk because, he's supposed to be quirkless. He has the double toe. Oh my goodness, Brandy, I see. He has the double toe joint. He's supposed to be quirkless. Yeah, here he is, walking around with flower hair, having pet snakes that do everything he says, and getting run over by fucking trucks and recovering within an hour. Give me a moment. Yeah, I'm back. Had something to drink. Mouth is still pretty dry, though. Anyway, so, yeah. Izuku is a walking anomaly. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna give you the 3 snakes that, are around his neck. Just because. Just because. The 3 snakes' names. One's named Obanai. If you get the reference, you get the reference. The other's Shikamaru. Once again, get the reference, you get the reference. And thirdly is... You know what? Yeah, just Mizuki. Because I'm way too lazy to think of anything better. So, yeah, if you get the references, you get the references. Anyway, so, yeah. One day when Izuku's like 4, he's busy playing with Bakugo. Yes, he has the snakes around his neck. They are with him everywhere, and no one knows why they don't ever, like, do the bullshit that snakes do. Especially considering, like, the ones around Izuku's neck are famous for being highly aggressive towards people specifically. They just are chill around him. The main reason is, to the snakes, is because they don't want to piss him off. To their knowledge, he could put on a worse curse than what Athena did to Medusa. In case you're curious, Athena was kind of the one who turned Medusa into something that's so unfathomably ugly that instead of physically looking at her, our bodies would just prefer turning to solid stone. Yeah, I don't know why it was Athena instead of Aphrodite. That just kind of seems like something she would do, but you know, you know, Greek gods were just petty, I guess. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, Izuku would eventually scrape his knee. Before you ask, yes, he still can scrape his knee. He's just very, very surprisingly durable. Just to everything except for sharp objects. A sharp object is just like flat out Izuku's weakness. So he would scrape his knee against like a piece of wood, as like he wouldn't even notice the pain. Just a bit of blood, of his golden blood, would drip to the ground, and just fucking vines would burst from it. Zuko's confused. Bakugo's confused. Before it would slowly register in Bakugo's brain as he would go, "Izuku, you got your quirk, just like me!" Bakugo would say proudly, blasting off some explosions. This is like a week after Bakugo got his quirk, so he has yet to become a douchebag. So, yeah. Izuku would be excited, go tell his mother, and rip open his fucking hand to show her. As he would just drip some blood on the ground, much to Inko's horror, as, well, a clone of him would just kind of arise from it and go, "Hello, my baby! Hello, my darling! Hello, my right-hand girl!" Before Izuku would quickly cover its mouth and just blorf it inside of him, Chronos style. Just eats it! Just assimilates it down his gullet, as he would say, "No, I can't survive the copyright strike, nor can I survive the thought of that dancing frog. He has outlived way too many people." Izuku would just shake thinking about it, as Inko would just kind of stare at him blankly like, "What do you mean, dancing frog?" Izuku would just kind of wave his hand and say, Nothing, nothing. Just, if you see any frogs with a top hat, shoot it." Okay. She would just kind of look to the side, confused, like, 4-year-olds these days. Wait, shoot it? I don't even have a gun. Well, make one then. Just kill the frog. They would bicker for a little bit, like, "Why do you want me to kill this frog exactly?" And Izuku just is telling her that it's best to kill it. Anyway, time skip. Quirk Doctor's office. They still cannot figure out what the fuck Izuku's quirk is. Like, considering he's supposed to be quirkless because he has the double toe joint, but here he is, flower hair, cutting his hand open and magic yellow blood pouring out, which makes vines? Well, they experimented a bit, and it can just make things. The only limit seems to be if it's alive or not. They're questioning whether he can make viruses. That's up to debate with, them. But he can make anything from bacteria to reviving a pot plant. They tested because they had a pot plant that was dead in the corner. Izuku just kind of revived it because. Burp. But yeah. Anyway, they can't figure out what Izuku's quirk is, so they just kind of leave it. They just kind of let him do whatever the fuck he wants with it. Anyway, Izuku would name his quirk Gaia Blood. Well, quirk in quotation marks here. It isn't a quirk, it's just how he works. But yeah, once again, quirk in quotation marks. Just naming it a quirk for both, the video title, and also that's the only thing the doctors can kind of equate without going into Greek god territory. Without going into the territory of the divine. So, yeah. Anyway, Izuku. Anyway, time skipped when Izuku's like 5. He's busy playing on the beach. He's allowed to go out on his own, considering his ability to clone himself and pretty much immortality at this point. Like, he can recover from having his head blown up. That was found out courtesy of Bakugo accidentally using his quirk a bit too hard when him and Izuku were play fighting. Yes, Izuku regrew his fucking head. So, yeah, whilst Izuku plays on the beach, I'll just tell you a bit about his quirk. Now, well, quirk, once again in quotation marks. Izuku is technically the only Greek god who's truly immortal. Let me explain. The only way to kill a Greek god, well, kill in quotation marks, is to seal them away, like divide their body and seal them away. So, yeah. That's technically the only way to kill a Greek god. Now, Izuku has a method of getting around this via his ability to clone himself. So, you can seal away one Izuku and end up with 5 more like a fucking Hydra. Except here's the thing. If you burn like Izuku, if you cauterize one of his wounds, he has the entire rest of his body. The entire rest of his body to bleed from. Unlike the Hydra, where it can only regenerate its head from the stumps. So in other words, in order to kill Izuku, you have to divide up his body and seal him away without drawing any kind of blood from him, which is very difficult since he's practically immune to all forms of blunt force trauma. Because here's a fun fact about living creatures. We are squishy. Living organisms are squishy. And stabby stabs tend to work very well against us, where something like a sledgehammer, once again, can get the job done. It's just very difficult, much slower, and just all around less easy than just a stabby stab. And Izuku embodies that kind of trait. Stabby stabs are the only things that can really damage him. Well, they're not the only things that can damage him, they're just the only things that can do a good job, as you would say, aside from an explosion to the head. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, okay, let's just continue with the what if. Sorry I paused, my mouth was, like, very dry. Anyway, so, yeah. Where's Izuku? Just doing a little bit here, so give me a moment. Oh, he's fallen down a hole. Right. I leave him alone for 5 seconds, and he falls down a hole. Fucking perfect. Anyway, so, yeah. Izuku fell down a hole in the beach. And he would just kind of roll down there. Just, you can just hear the cartoon sound effect of him bashing against stuff. As he would just end up at the bottom of the hole and see a stone statue without a head. Just see a stone statue without a head and a snake tail. Y'all can guess who it is. The stone statue is surrounded by, well, skeletons of individuals with snake hair, well, presumably snake hair. They had snakes coming out of their skulls, and snake tails. Now, I know Medusa in Greek mythology did not have a snake tail instead of her legs, but I mean, come on, it's fucking cool. So Izuku would just kind of get up, walk over. In case you're curious, this is like a Perseus situation where Izuku knows who his father is perfectly well. He knows perfectly well, and is, while currently trying to avoid him, because he's fully aware of A, what his wife does, and B, what Zeus would do once he finds out about Izuku's mother. So, just kind of that. So, yeah. Anyway, Izuku would just kind of slowly walk over to a stone statue. Not because, he's afraid of it or anything. Just kind of, just being cautious in case he has to take an arrow to the side of the head from any kind of India and Joan booby traps. I mean, you can only die so many times before you start getting very frustrated with it. Anyway, Izuku would just kind of approach the statue, get curious, cut his hand open, and just kind of put a bit of blood on it. As you can just hear the sound of screaming coming from it, as it would just slowly start moving and animating, cracks forming in it, and in a burst of smoke, there be a child the same age as Izuku. With snake hair, a snake tail, and extreme hatred for Perseus and Athena. In case you're wondering, the reason she hates Athena is because she put her head on her shield. She has spent the last dozen or so 100 years on a shield just looking at nothing aside from white sky. It is annoying. So, cut to Athena. Her shield with, Medusa's head would just kind of slowly melt into nothing, as she would just go, Zeus! What bullshit have you done this time? That's just the universal thing up there. As we all know, Zeus causes majority of problems for either the gods or us humans. He was the one who, kind of opened Pandora's box. Well, yeah, in some tellings of the story, he had someone else open it for him, but in others, he was the one who personally did it. Either way, he was responsible for all evils, diseases, or minor inconveniences in the world. Every time you've stubbed your toe, that was Zeus's fault. Every time you've lost one of your socks and couldn't find where it was Zeus's fault. Every single minor inconvenience, great evil, great disease, great plague, was caused by this man opening Pandora's box. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that he's just the universal person who's responsible for bullshit. Oh yeah, and he keeps cheating on his wife, which keeps fucking over multiple people's lives. So, yeah. Anyway, Athena would just her eyes would just kind of twitch as she looks at Izuku. Well, not Izuku, she looks at Zeus, silent rage bubbling over. As Zeus would just kind of prop up his arms like, I didn't do that. I did not do that. In case you're curious, yes, Hercules is a god. He officially becomes one after his wife tries to put a love potion on him, but doesn't realize that the centaur whose blood she was using for the love potion was acidic because Hercules used Hydra blood to kill it, so he just kind of dove headfirst into fire to relieve himself from the pain. Anyway, so, yeah. Hercules would kind of step in, like, maybe it was one of my half-brothers. As Zeus would just go, okay, not everyone who's related to me causes indiscriminate amounts of chaos. Hera would just kind of look at him and take out, this monitor type thing with Izuku and Mini Medusa. Zeus would just kind of blankly stare at this for a couple of minutes before sighing to himself, saying, fuck. So, Athena would just kind of say, okay, I've disfigured that bitch once, I can do it again, and then we'll just have her decapitate her. Or, like, get Perseus to or something. And maybe we'll just kill the kid. Zeus would just kind of slowly turn to Athena and say, you want to piss off Gaia? Kill him. Oh, wait. We can't. He's basically us. He's basically one of us, except half Titan, and also has the ability to multiply via blood. So cut him up as much as you want, he'll just regenerate, and if that doesn't work and you seal him apart, the blood from before will just turn into multiple versions of him, which also can split apart into more clones of him, so try and kill him, see what happens. I mean, like, Hera's snakes were more afraid of him than Hera herself, so. Athena would just kind of sigh, putting her hand on her face, before saying, what's the name of that, what's the name of that one lady you refused to marry because it was prophesied that she would bear you a son more powerful than you? I'm pretty sure you just accidentally did that. Anyway, yeah, give me a moment. I'm back. Had to stop recording for a little bit. So, yeah. Athena would just be very pissed off at Zeus and, Izuku, but she would be fully aware that she can't really touch him. A, she probably can't kill him. B, she definitely can't kill him. C, her trying to would piss off Gaia. And D, once he gets a decent following, because as we all know, in Izuku's current state, he can't take on Athena or, like, Zeus, simply outlast them. Which says a lot, but still, he ain't packing the punch yet. He needs to get a kind of following first. And if I do a part 2, maybe I'll do that if I do a part 2 to this. 25 likes for that within a week. That's just an unspoken rule here. 25 likes within a week, it gets a part 2. Yes, I know, the absolute freedom what if, aka the sun god Nika what if. Yes, that's what its name has been changed to. I know I need. I know I should make it, but yeah, just life. I know I should be making a part 2 for it, and I know that I'm probably gonna have to turn it into a series because I can't get it out of my head, but I can't right now, okay? Okay. Writer's block and all that. Anyway, well, not writer's block, I have plenty of ideas for it, I'm just lazy. Anyway, so, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Izuku and Medusa, yeah. Inko and Hisashi get another quote-unquote child. Yeah, Izuku just kind of lies through his little tiny teeth, saying that she had to deal with the quirk hierarchy and her parents kicked her out onto the side of the road and all that shit. Like, he has the both of them put on the waterworks. Like, he gives her not fake scars, like, he uses the scars that she gained in her lifetime, which she still has. You know what? Nah. The lie he gives is she was dead on the side of the road. He just used his quirk to bring her back. It fixed her body entirely. But yeah, they just put on this big show. These waterworks, her never even getting a birth certificate because her parents had thrown her out to the wolves the exact moment they saw her. She was never listed as a member of society and was treated horribly. And as we all know, Inko would cry over a sad-looking kitten. Which, to be fair, I would cry too, but still. Like, it does not take a lot to make Inko cry. So, yeah, Zuko technically has a new quotation marks younger quotation marks sister. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so, yep. And before you ask, yes, Medusa has to wear a little head thing, just something to cover up her eyes, because that was the one part of Izuku. That's the one part of her face that Izuku couldn't fix. Her eyes. Yeah, the curse for some dumb reason was a lot more concentrated on her eyes, so Izuku can't really fix that. So she has to kind of be walking around with either sunglasses or a blindfold. Well, technically slithering. The reason I'm doing this is because, in the actual myth, it was Medusa's entire face that was so horrifically ugly that your body would prefer turning to stone, like fucking breaking the laws of the universe and turning to stone instead of looking at her. That is like, yeah, that is how ugly she was. So, Zuko managed to reduce that to her eyes, but, he's still new to his quote unquote quirk, and, yeah, the curse, for some dumb reason, was a lot more concentrated in the eyes. Anyway, we cut to Athena and Aphrodite just giving Izuku and Medusa the middle finger from like up in the sky, just flipping him off. Dual hands. Like the eyes thing was the one spite to this child. Because as we all know, Greek deities are vain as fuck. They have beef with everyone and anyone, and yes, they will beef with children. Anyway, so, yeah. They'll all just. Yeah. Anyway, time skip. Yeah, I just have a little, bit I want to do before, yeah, before we get into the. Before we probably end it here, like a few, not really put together bits, just to drag out video length, if I'm being honest. So, you can click off if you want to, but if you don't and want to see just a few memes, feel free. So, yeah. Anyway, when Izuku's like, the start of middle school, around about the time of October, also, there's one person in my audience who made it clear that Halloween's their birthday, so happy extremely early birthday for me. I will be saying this again once, it's the day of your birthday. But yeah, anyway, happy extremely early birthday for me. Well, early by a few days. Let's just continue. So Izuku takes Bakugo around at back school. It's like spooky month, they have decorations up, and he would just show him his masterpiece of his own dead bodies. Like, there are Izuku's impaled on spikes, Izuku's hanging from a tree, there's just golden blood everywhere. Bakugo's just looking at this in absolute horror as it would slowly turn to Izuku like, the fuck is wrong with you? He would jump back after seeing Izuku's face erupt into spiders. Before you ask, no, he doesn't need to cut himself to use his quote unquote quirk. It's just that it's preferable if he doesn't want, let's say, vines to erupt from his arms, or like a clone of him to burst from his chest. But yeah. There's just a dancing frog in the background, like, hello, my baby, hello, my darling, hello, my right hand. Izuku would just throw a fucking lion at the frog as he would be like, no, frogs are dancing frogs with top hats are the one things I don't mess with in nature. Those are the one things I don't get with. Obanai attack! He doesn't actually send Obanai to attack, he just has Obanai hiss at him. Once again, comment if you get the reference. Anyway, so, yeah, for some reason Izuku has a vendetta against dancing frogs. But, yeah, Bakugo's just still looking at the dozens of Izuku corpses, as he's like, you have a problem, don't you? Izuku would nod and say, yep, my biological father's a man whore who slept with his mother. Bakugo's eyes would just kind of slowly widen at that information, as he would just go, and you know that how? Oh, I remember what was going on in the womb. Also the seed. Oh. Like, Bakugo would just kind of slowly back up, his facial expression just says, I did not need to know that information. So, yeah. Upon the realization that Izuku is heavily inbred, also, with a quirk like his, Bakugo just wonders if he should get with his mother. That was a joke. Anyway, Bakugo would then question, wait, aren't auntie, and uncle your biological parents? Zuko would shake his head, no. Nope. Inko's sterile. Bakugo would just kind of blankly stare at this, as you could just hear in the distance, like, above the school. What? Just camera pans up to above the school. What? Birds fly off. Like, Bakugo is just... like, what? Izuku would nod, yeah. As Bakugo would just say, so she had me wear a condom for nothing. Izuku would just kind of slowly turn to him like, what do you mean? As, like, Bakugo would look at his watch and say, oh, look at the time. He would just slowly pace away as Izuku would say, Zeus, is that you? As, like, he would slowly turn around and say, you'll never catch me alive! As with a burst of lightning, Bakugo, aka Zeus, would just kind of disappear, as Izuku's eye would twitch, as he would just scream, Zeus, you motherfucker! Literally! I find it funny that Zeus is a motherfucker on 4 levels. 3 of which being him actually having slept with Izuku's mothers. Well, 2 of which being he slept with Izuku's mothers, 1 being he slept with his own mother, and the 4th being he's just an asshole. So, yeah. Bakugo would just kind of slowly walk up like, hey, you don't want to say that unless you want to be struck by lightning. What the actual fuck happened here? Like, the actual Bakugo has just kind of seen, like, Izuku's big surprise of his own decapitated corpses. Like, once again, some are hanging off the trees, some are impaled on the fence, others just have no head and are, like, nailed to a wall. Just this entire gory scene with the bright golden yellow blood everywhere, as Izuku's eyes would just kind of twitch, and he would say to himself, alright, I was planning on doing this in like another 200 or so years, but apparently I need at least a following, well, a decent-sized following to go up into Olympus to whoop that bearded motherfuckers. Well, they all actually have beards up there, to my knowledge, to beat that lightning-throwing motherfucker's ass. Or I could just... am I willing to... Bakugo would just kind of slowly back away as Izuku's contemplating taking on a female form and, going out into the woods conveniently near a herd of horses to let Zeus kind of, so he can whoop that man's ass. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm ending this off here. Goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.